This is Jody Sidlauskas. I'm the Associate Archivist at RIT. Today is October 15th, 2016, and we are conducting this interview for Brick City Weekend, celebrating the induction of the class of 1966. And I have with me two members of that class, and they are Jeanne and Joel Clarke. Jeanne Kentner Clarke. They met at RIT and married and are here today to celebrate this amazing anniversary. So, let me begin. What years did you attend RIT?
Well, good morning. I'm Jeanne, and I started at RIT in the fall of 1962, and Joel started the fall of
61.
And then, of course, we graduated in class of 66.
Okay, and you were on the downtown campus.
We were at the downtown campus, and I lived part of the time I was a commuter, so that was something you could do when the campus was downtown. It was convenient to take the bus or whatever and ride into town and go to classes, but there was always the issue of parking, which I think is corrected out here at the new campus. And then my junior year, I believe it was, I was able to, anyway, I did live on campus for a while, lived in the Kate Gleason Hall, and then I also had an apartment on Washington Street for a while, so I kind of did a little bit of all.
Nice. So you were a full-time day student, correct?
That's correct, yes, full-time. And then in those days, we had the co-op program. I don't know if they still do that, but we worked for 10 weeks, and then we went to school for 10 weeks, and worked for 10 weeks, and went to school for 10 weeks. So really, it made it kind of nice. You had a little bit of income to help you out with your expenses, and at the same time, you had a chance to apply the different things that you've learned in school.
Nice. Yes, and they do co-op still today.
They do.
Yes.
Well, since they changed the semesters, I was confused about that.
Yeah.
So then they're gone for a whole semester when they do a co-op?
I think they are, yes.
Because we had the little 10-week blocks, which kind of worked out nice.
And so what was your major?
I majored in business with a retail management as my career, I guess you'd call it. And then, Joel, what did you do?
Me, I was in printing.
Printing?
Yeah.
That's cool, printing.
And did you receive diplomas or degrees then?
We had degrees. We had our bachelor's.
Your bachelor's?
Yeah.
And yours was a bachelor's?
Associates and masters.
Yeah, well, that's right, because we had the 2-year program, we got our associates, and
Okay.
then we stayed another 2 and got our bachelor's, that's right.
And do you remember why you chose RIT?
Well, that was really not a difficult decision. My father had worked at RIT for over 30 years, and when he retired, he was called the Assistant Dean of the College of Continuing Education. So my whole life there was nothing but RIT in my future. And it was always dinner table conversation, and even as a child, I remember going to spring weekends, and because they always had like carnival atmosphere, and we as kids got to go to that, and it was just always part of life. And then my dad was involved in getting NTID to come here. It was about 1963-64 that it was announced that the loop, the expressway, was going to go through campus. And then I remember dinner table conversation about what's going to happen, and then apparently someone endowed a large amount of money and allowed them to acquire the new campus, which we did, as a kid, I didn't really understand all that. I was at RIT, and it was, dinner table conversation, And then Dr. Ellingson asked my dad to write a proposal for the NTID, for the National Technical Institute for the Deaf, and he did write the proposal. And there's always the story of him sitting at our yellow kitchen table and writing this article to submit to Dr. Ellingson so he could submit it to the proper Department of Education, the the United States, I guess.
Yeah.
whatever.
the government.
So then apparently, RIT then was selected as one of the 5 schools that they were seriously considering for NTID. And then he was sent to Chicago to make the presentation to the board. And then as a result of that, NTID was awarded to RIT.
That's wonderful that you have that piece of history.
Yeah, and then it just seems like it disappeared, you know, because he really never made photocopies. There was no Xerox machines or anything. He just submitted all this, and he really didn't have any, you know, backup to show what he had done. I don't even know if that's around anymore, his proposal to have it someplace to show, you know, how it had
I
come.
think we might have it in our
someplace,
archives.
someplace.
I'm
It's
sure.
kind of exciting. But anyway, so that's how I chose to go to RIT, because that was just what I was going to do. And I was always interested in retail, and so that when there was a really nice department at the time, just in retail management, and so I was able to get into it, believe it or not, and was able to attend classes for my 4 years.
Wonderful. So do you remember where your classes were held, in which buildings?
We were talking about that earlier, and I know we were at 50 West Main for almost all of our classes. But and there was the Eastman Annex, you remember? But I don't remember the names of the buildings, but I can picture it in my mind, you know, walking to classes and finding a place to park. And, and then I worked, even while I was not on block, I was working part-time, so I usually have, you know, get home quick so I could get to work. But I was working at Sibley's at the time.
And was the Sibley's right there downtown Rochester?
The Sibley's I worked at part-time was in Arundecoit, which is
Oh.
where I lived. My parents lived because I was commuting, but when I did my co-op, I did co-op at the Sibley's downtown.
That's great. And Sibley's, we should say, for those who don't know, was a major department store in for a long time in Rochester.
Many, many years, and even, you know, as a child, I remember going there Christmas time and seeing Santa and going through the toy department and going through the little Dickens Village or whatever it was I always had set up, you know, and it was just Sibley's, and then I got to work there. It was so exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember any of your favorite professors?
I remember Dr. Fram very well. He was always a treasure to me, very helpful. And Dr. Burkholder was always a fun guy. And then I think there was Eugene Miller, I think his name was. Anyway, he was great as well.
And
And Von Dieben, Graham Von Dieben, I think was his name, and remember him as well.
I think we found him in the yearbook yesterday, right? You girls were laughing over that. And what did what was his name? The second one, Burkholder?
Burkholder.
What did he teach?
I remember him teaching like a textiles class, and we had these little magnifying glass things, and we'd look in the weave of fabrics and then burn them to see what they were made out of, and you know, it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was very informative, but it was fun.
Yeah. And you spoke of where you lived. You sort of at first commuted home from home. So that was the cost of that was
Very
the price was
economical.
right.
And then because my dad, as we already said, worked here on occasion, I even rode in with him, so that worked out great.
And then you lived in an apartment or in the dorm, Kate
We lived
Gleason.
in the dorm, Kate Gleason, yeah, and we had, the rooms there were very nice, because we had, it was almost like a little apartment. We had our own kitchen, we had there were 2 bunk beds, and I think there was 5 girls in a room, and the other one was, we had like a study area, and it was just beautiful. It was perfect. My room was on the 2nd floor, I remember that. It was very nice. And they had an elevator that sometimes worked.
Sometimes. Nice.
And we had curfews too. These girls nowadays, I don't even know what a curfew is, but I don't remember now whether it was 10 or 11, but you know, as a freshman, you had an earlier curfew than the upperclassmen, and you had to sign in and out, and there was always someone on duty there to make sure you were in and out, and very strict.
Very different. And you spoke earlier about having a co-op experience.
At Sibley's, and I had, because we were there 3 or 4 different times, I had different jobs. And the one I did the most was called research. And so we would make sure that each of the departments was fully stocked. We had a list of things that each department was supposed to have, and then we'd go to the departments and check them off on the list. I don't think that people liked us coming there, but that's what I did for quite a while. And then I was in the fashion department for a while with Margaret Thurtle was the director of the fashion department. And then we helped with the fashion shows, and we did the windows, decorated the windows and everything. So that was really a fun job. It was very interesting. And then another block I was in the, I think it was called accessories at the time, but it was like gloves. Nobody buys gloves, and hosiery, and gloves came in different sizes and different colors, and you measured people's hands. We had these little things to measure their hands, and then had to work in the warehouse and, you know, stock the shelves from the warehouse when the shipments came in and everything. So that was fun.
We have a beautiful photograph of the glove department.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, you know, somebody behind the counter helping a customer, and, you know, you see all the long gloves.
Exactly.
And it's like a glove department.
Yes, and they were called like buttons. It was like, you know, like a 3-button, 4-button length glove. And that was depending, back a while, apparently there were buttons on the cuff of the thing. And so if you wanted a 1-button length, it was like right to your wrist, and a 4-button length might be a little bit longer. And they were in shelves labeled 1-button, 2-button.
Oh my.
It was a whole different world 50 years ago, right? 53 years ago, maybe.
Do you recall anything about the new campus at the time? Because that was when they were announcing that they were going to come here, and some of the construction had started.
Well, because it was dinner table conversation in my house for years, not for years, but for several years. But as a child going, or not as a child, but you know, when we drove out there to see where it was. My dad drove us out so we could see where this place is going to be. And then we, being in school at that time too, they had parties and picnics and different things going on out there all the time. But not all the time, but often we would go out there. And how I didn't really meet my husband there, but I don't know if we should tell this story. But when I was a freshman, I remember being freshman, just like the freshman week, and you're getting oriented, and they took us to this park, which was the new campus, and I had on these beautiful brand new wool green Bermuda shorts. You know, I was just cat's meow. I was so excited to be all dressed up to go to this picnic. And then there's some guy that started throwing eggs, and I've since found out it was him. So
One egg.
Oh.
And then everybody
started
started throwing eggs, and so my beautiful wool green Bermuda shorts got egged.
Was it you telling me yesterday about the egg fight?
So that's
eggs flying everywhere.
So that's what I do remember about that. And then he remembers they used to do the buggy races. Do you want to tell her a little bit about that?
Oh, it was the baby carriage races, and that was one of the first things, the IFC picnic at the new campus. And I just remember pushing the baby carriage with, I forget who was in it right now, but.
Yeah, we've seen pictures of that too. I think there's one in your yearbook. And that was just a fun thing,
Oh, sure.
like a competition, and silly, and just for the heck of it.
So the new campus was kind of exciting at the time, but we, being class of 66, really weren't imagining ourselves ever being there. So we weren't in that position, but we liked the park atmosphere that they had.
Do you remember maybe your dad, if you heard him express that it was going to be a good thing for RIT to move out of the
Oh,
city.
absolutely. Well, it was a good thing for RIT for sure, but this discussion about out of the city and, it's the city, everything was so convenient when you're downtown and
Mhm.
for getting the kids to co-ops and all these things were things that were dinner table conversations, but in the end, everyone agreed that it was going to be a wonderful opportunity.
And now
for
the city's
school.
built around
Yeah.
RIT, isn't it?
Because
Yes.
there was nothing out there. It was like, what are they going to do way out here? And now it's a metropolis out here.
Right. RIT itself is a metropolis.
Yes.
What extracurricular activities did you take part in?
Well, I think there's another question on here about the sorority. So I did pledge Alpha Sigma Alpha sorority and was Delta Omicron at the time. And then we became the national sorority Alpha Sigma Alpha during that period of time. And I did serve as president of Alpha Sigma Alpha my senior year, I think it was. And I really enjoyed my sisters, and the whole experience was great, especially for me being a commuter. It made me part of the campus. Other than that, I wouldn't have been connected. So it was very important and good for me to be part of, at the time, Delta Omicron, which then became Alpha Sigma Alpha. And then we did do so many nice service projects. We worked with some of the disabled children and I remember helping them go swimming and, different things like that. So it was very fulfilling as well to have some of those activities that we did get involved in. And then the other thing I did, my most fun is before I went to school, somebody challenged me and said, or I said something like, they had swords on their wall in their house as an accessory, and I said, oh, I think I'll join the fencing team. They said, oh yeah, you would never do that. So as a freshman, I joined the fencing team and did that for 4 years and just loved every minute of it. We had such a good time, and Scipione was our coach. He was just a delight, Paul Scipione, and kind of kept in touch with him even after school because he did live in Greece, town of Greece, and then the girls I knew from fencing were eventually, you spent, every night of the week, practicing together, and then we go to tournaments, and then RIT was selected to host the Intercollegiate Women's Fencing Association Championship that year, of which at that time I was president of it. So we had it here or there, the old campus, and it was a really big event. I think there were 12 schools that came in, and it was it was good. It worked out really, really nice. And we had a nice banquet, and other people kind of participated in putting it together, helping us, get everything organized so that we could pull it off, and it worked out okay.
Nice.
I remember that very well. It was quite a project.
So, you mentioned your fraternity or your sorority.
Yep.
Do you have any other fond memories that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I don't know if you call this a fond memory, but because of the timing of this, and they didn't mention it yesterday during the dinner either, but President Kennedy was shot. And I remember being at 50 West Main. They had an elevator there that worked. And I remember we had just gotten out of classes and we're standing in front of that elevator to go on to the next class or whatever was going on. And you started hearing little snippets about it. President Kennedy was shot. That can't possibly be, and then you kind of, as everyone has memories of that particular day. And then the whole city completely shut down. There was just nothing. There was nothing open except there was one little diner that we did find open so we could have something to eat one day. But the grocery stores, everything just completely shut down.
Wow.
It was really quite, not immediately, but by that evening and for that whole weekend, it was quite a.
And were you there then too, Joel?
Oh, yeah. No, I remember walking down the main street, and remember a couple of us were talking about it. Yeah, it was quite a memorable time for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody remembers where you were, and you remember that you're on elevator.
Yeah.
And then so there at the downtown campus, we had the quad, which was, I don't know, big square, I guess, obviously. And it was what?
Or a quadrangle.
A quadrangle. So we would, that was always, I'll meet you at the quad, I'll meet you at the quad. And so, you know, kind of was a place to gather, and there's a lot of pictures of it. I think I've seen of people, you know, there. It wasn't very big,
Yeah.
but it was a popular spot to kind of meet. And plus the PT, I'm sure that got mentioned. There was a favorite, I guess you call it a bar, on Main Street. It was called Pastime the PT, and that was the big hangout, especially on Wednesday night, which was Greek night. And,
I would love to go in further about that, but I probably should.
No, I don't think you can. And then the other fun thing was always our spring weekend. The Greeks, you know, meaning the sororities, we made, as other departments did as well, but we made these floats, and they had this big parade, and we had the big dances, and they were held at the Midtown Plaza downtown Rochester. When Midtown Plaza, I don't know how it's doing now, but it was just brand new then, and it was so exciting. And we'd had the spring weekend dances were down there. So.
I have to tell you, the Midtown Plaza was demolished this
Oh
year.
no!
Isn't that terrible?
Yes.
We were all like, because everybody in Rochester who
clock?
lived here. The clock is saved, and it's at our airport
Oh, good.
with the circular, and it goes around over
Yeah,
the different
yeah.
countries. Yeah, that's in our airport.
Oh, that's good. That got saved.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that something? Oh my God.
Yes, so thank goodness we do have the photographs that we do of, you know, some of your dances and things that were there.
And another memory I can that came to mind was, seems like at that time somebody bought a tiger or something, and so that's when we became the Tigers or something, and then the tiger was called Spirit or something, and now the tiger they call it something else, right? The
Richie.
which is cute. But then something happened to that tiger, you know, it was like so exciting. They bring it to games, this live tiger, and then they put it in the zoo, and then I guess it died or something, I don't know.
Yes. And we had his pelt at the archives yesterday.
Oh, really?
When you were there, he was on the table there.
Oh my
I
gosh.
took a picture of it.
Oh my gosh,
Good.
that was
That tiger.
Spirit?
Yeah.
That was Spirit?
That's
Oh my
Spirit.
gosh.
Isn't that something?
No, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yes. Let's see, where are we? Do you remember President Ellingson?
Yeah,
I'm
of
sure
course
you
I
do.
remember Dr. Ellingson, and of course he was although he was my father's big boss, but with very, very well respected man, delightful person, and his wife was wonderful, and they very good memories of the Ellingsons and all the things they did for our IT, and then especially kind of initiating the NTID thing too, actually, because if he hadn't said, my father, Harold Kettner, write this proposal, it probably never would have gotten done through,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was quite a driving force in the success of our IT, and he must have been part of the acquisition of the new campus too then, so.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Big world there. Did either of you go to graduate school, or did you go right to work after RIT?
Work.
Well,
Printing?
Yeah.
Printer in Rochester area?
Well, I started out and I was in Minneapolis, and was there for a year, and we came back, and I worked at Case-Hoyt for 5 years. Then I moved out to Wisconsin, and we've been there ever since.
Okay.
And for me, no, I never really did my career. I did work in retail. I mean, I was in Dayton's in Minneapolis for a very short time as a sales clerk selling, dresses. It's like, I mean, it was fun, but I had pictured myself running the department, not being the person putting tags on outfits and stuff. So anyway, but then we moved, and then we had a little girl, and then my life just kind of changed and never got back into it. And then I started in a direct sales company that kind of grew, and started in Rochester when we had moved back here, and then in Milwaukee it really took off, so I had nice success with that. And then when that company closed, then I became a travel agent. and that was a lot of fun for many years. And then as a travel agent, I was, for 10 years, every Saturday morning, I did a 1-hour travel show on the radio. So my company had me, I was kind of like an advertisement for the company, but people would call in with questions and I'd answer them. And so it was kind of it was a stressful thing, but it was kind of fun. Hindsight, it was a good time.
Yeah. Bet you two did some traveling too.
We did a little bit of traveling, but not as much as people think, because you know you've got to get childcare. You know, you got to get the job off. You got to find someone to fill in for you. But we definitely did do some very, very nice trips. No question about that. But people think travel agents travel all the time, and many do, but we were not one of them.
Okay. So I guess I didn't ask you when you were married then.
So we were married our senior year in '66, and I wanted to get married Valentine's Day, so we got married February 12th, which was as close to Valentine's Day as we could be. And so it was kind of fun. We had met basically because of fraternity and sororities were like, you know, sister or brother fraternities, and then when I had my apartment with my roommate Birgit. He had an apartment down the road on the same Washington Street, and he was my best friend. You know, he'd come over and, you know, we'd eat together, we'd go do our laundry together, and we'd do, you know, he was just you know, boy next door. And guess what happened, you know, 50 years ago, we got married, and we just celebrated our 50th anniversary. We took the family to Huatulco, Mexico. And my maid of honor, who was Susan, who the gal who's here.
Yes.
She was our maid of honor, and she came to Mexico with us, and again served as maid of honor in our anniversary celebration. So it was.
Oh, how
fun.
nice!
And she's a sorority sister. Yes.
And what's Susan's last name?
O'Rourke. She was Susan Bland, and now she's
Bland,
Susan O'Rourke.
right. And hopefully Becky's talking to Susan right now.
Yes. So really, I did not go into retail as much as I would like to, but that industry has changed so much too.
Mhm.
Look at the stores are closing, and everything's online, and you know it's just a whole different world. But
Yeah.
RIT was fun, and we learned a lot, and set us off on the right direction for our lives together, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of RIT and the RIT Archives, I really want to thank you both for being here, for consenting to share your life story with us, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you.